The transatlantic slave trade, one of the darkest chapters in human history, involved the forced transportation of millions of Africans to the Americas between the 16th and 19th centuries. This trade was driven by European colonial powers who sought to exploit African labor to develop their colonies, especially in the Caribbean, South America, and North America. Origins and expansion. The trade began in the early 16th century when Portuguese traders began transporting enslaved Africans to their colonies in Brazil. As European powers such as Spain, Britain, France, and the Netherlands expanded their colonial empires, the demand for labor grew. Africans were forcibly taken from their homeland, often through raids and wars waged by European and African traders. The Middle Passage. The Middle Passage was the harrowing journey across the Atlantic Ocean where enslaved Africans were packed into ships under brutal conditions. Many did not survive the journey due to disease, malnutrition, and inhumane treatment. Those who did were sold at auctions and forced into a lifetime of labor on plantations, in mines, and in households. Economic impact. The trade had profound economic impacts, fueling the economies of European nations and their colonies. The labor of enslaved Africans was essential to the production of sugar, tobacco, cotton, and other cash crops that were exported to Europe, making these regions incredibly wealthy. Human cost. The human cost of the transatlantic slave trade was immeasurable. It is estimated that over 12 million Africans were enslaved and transported across the Atlantic, with millions more dying in the process. The trade decimated African communities, caused immense suffering, and had long-lasting social and economic effects on African societies. Abolition. The abolition of the transatlantic slave trade began in the late 18th century, driven by the efforts of abolitionists in Europe and America. The British Empire abolished the trade in 1807, followed by the United States in 1808. However, illegal trading continued for several decades, and slavery itself persisted in various regions until the 19th century. Legacy. The legacy of the transatlantic slave trade continues to affect societies today, particularly in the Americas and Africa. It contributed to the racial and social hierarchies that have shaped modern societies and remains a crucial part of understanding the history of racism, inequality, and the African diaspora. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more in-depth historical explorations.